Okay, clap.
Yeah, so I read the SCA sustainability, the program structure, and on the last one, you need to do your own projects during the course. What was your project?
Um, yeah, so my project, you know that or I guess Ben and Justin and Jeremy have started a new like sister company to Monogram called Soon Coffee.
Yes.
And so Soon Coffee's like whole premise is sort of what I've also been talking about, like making specialty coffee. Like it's sort of like a fast service model, serving like really approachable, affordable coffees. And so my project for that was to create a green buying guide for Soon. So it was really interesting because we obviously Monogram has been buying green coffee for many years, and before that, like Justin and Ben have been doing it, and so we obviously have like some kind of like guideline or outline or like buying guide, and but there was nothing that was super in depth with like accountability points and different things like that. So because we were just launching this new company, I decided that I would take on creating this buying guide for Soon. And yeah, so it was very interesting. It was a lot of work, and I'm really proud of the project. Actually, I think it turned out really well, and through the course of developing the project, you have to work with like, as per like the course outline, you have to work with like different mentors and like have meet all of these like different points of accountability for like different people in the industry that you talk with, and like different things that you have to do. So because I had to go through the course, there were all of these like guidelines that I had to go through, and so different like surveys or questionnaires or X amount of people that I had to interview for it, or like different points of research that I had to do for the project. And I actually got to chat with Jeff from Apex. He was one of my mentors, as well as Justin. And then I was able to talk with a bunch of different producers, like sending them out questionnaires, asking them like what sorts of things they are looking for in like partners from us, and like what types of things they want from us as well, and like how we can work best with them. So I really got to like base my buying guide a lot on like producers' needs and different things that they were looking for as well. So, and I did the other side too, asking customers. I sent out a survey and I got like hundreds of answers from customers, just like looking for like different things that they're also hoping to see from like us. And so yeah, it was really interesting, and I'm excited to like, now that like people are like going on trips again and that sort of thing, like just putting this guide into use and seeing how it like develops, I guess, over the years. And yeah, so it was a really fun project for me to do. Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. Any answers that you never expected from producers or customers?
I think something that was like really interesting for me with the producer answers is I think often us as like roasters or people who are buying coffee, like I think that there's this like, I don't know if it's like intentional or if people know that they're doing it, but I think there's like this kind of mentality that like we know what's best for other people. And so it's like, well, if we provide them money for this, or if we tell them how they should process their coffee, or if we provide aid in like a certain way, like this is what they want, this is what will make their coffee better and their lives better. And hearing back from the producers like the types of things that they actually want from us was just like, there was such like a disconnect from what I think roasters think that producers want from them versus what producers actually do want. And the things that they actually do want from us are just like so simple, like know who we are, know our coffee, and like those just seem like such obvious things that I think sometimes we make things like way more complicated than they have to be. And so I found that really interesting, where like the things that they want from us are we can so easily do, but we think it's harder, and we try and make things like more difficult all the time than they really need to be. And I think that if we just worked towards like meeting them where they're at, like, because the thing is, like, they are farmers, they are producers, like that's what they do for a living, like they know what they're doing, they don't need us to tell them what they're doing and how to do it. So yeah, I found that really interesting that almost everyone that I talked to, that was the answer. Just know who we are and know like what our coffees are, and tell people like about us when you're serving our coffees. So I found that really interesting. Yeah,
that is interesting.
I do not remember the question.
No, that was a question.
Oh, that was a question. Okay, I'm like, I'm forgetting something.
No, I was thinking.
Yeah. It is thought-provoking. It's like so simple, but for whatever reason, it's like just not something that we like think about, or that we just think that there's always more than that. Yeah,
it's true. Like with roasters or like green importer who live in the consuming countries, they know what customers demand. So it's kind of roaster or the coffee companies, they want to have like certain types of flavor. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of normal thing that we ask them to produce certain types of profile. Yeah, that's been kind of what has been done.
Yeah.
And from like producer's point of view, it could be kind of demanding.
And like risky too, right? Like that's their livelihood, and that's how they make their money. And if they take a risk on like producing something a different way than they're used to, or processing something like in a different type of processing method without like the security of a roaster being like, I'm gonna buy it no matter what, it's risky for them. Yeah.
Is there any like different answers from different sides of the producers? Because like in the producers, there are many different scale of producers, and some producers are like bigger scale. They have multiple farms in multiple countries, and there are family-sized producers. Have you had a chance to communicate with like wide range of producers?
Yes, because with Soon we're buying from like bigger farms, so it's like more sustainable for us, and just from like where we're buying from for Soon. So I did talk to some very big scale farms, and then because we have contacts with Monogram for some smaller producers, I did have the opportunity to talk to smaller ones as well. And obviously with like certain topics like pricing and that sort of thing, like the answers were different depending on like where they were from in the world, or like how big or how small their farm was. But that specific question was like pretty across the board what people had like responded with.
Are you planning to do like one time like lecture in person in the future about what you've learned and kind of like future project related? Because it sounds like, because I was really into this topic, sustainability topic, because I never really learned that types of course anywhere. And also most of the coffee class in Canada, or I'm pretty sure pretty much all the consuming countries are focused on coffee skill, how to brew coffee. Like coffee knowledge general is like an intro part of coffee class, but there wasn't in a full course about the coffee supply chain and producers. So I think it would be nice if like you can do a 2-hour one day class of this, then it will deliver what is the situation to the customer very well in a set format.
Honestly, haven't even thought about it.
Yeah.
Should I do something?
yeah, you should do
Yeah.
something because yeah, even I'm really interested, and there are many things that I never like heard about.
And there honestly, and there's just so, and even with the 3 courses that I took, like there's so much more to know. It's just like a never ending like rabbit hole you can go down learning about so many different things, because there's all sorts of like different aspects of sustainability. It's not just like one thing. There's so many, and so there is so much to learn about it. And even like honestly, the very first course or the very first class I had, we had like some questions that we had to pre-fill out, and the very first question that the instructor asked was like, how would you define sustainability? And then she had us kind of like give our answers in the class, and then she also had examples from like what other bigger like companies or corporations, or like how other people define sustainability. And for the most part, it's very like, I would say it has a very small focus on mostly like environmental. Like when people think about sustainability, they think about like, oh, a reusable coffee mug, or like don't use straws, or make sure that you're using like reusable shopping bags, or mostly like having to do with reducing waste. And that's it's a big part of sustainability, but it's also such a small part on the grand scheme of things. And so just kind of like relearning what sustainability really means, and that it's really an action word, and it requires you to like do something about it. And yeah, I just found it so interesting, and I myself would love to learn more, but it was just this like big part of coffee that I honestly like. Obviously everybody's heard, like sustainability is a major buzzword, like everybody has heard that word before, and obviously like whatever industry you work in or wherever you are at in your life, it's like sustainability fits in some way, like, but to the scope of like what I've understood it to be now is like I just never even thought about it in like my job day to day. But yeah,
like even like people in coffee industry doesn't really know about it. I'm pretty sure customers are interested in like sustainability in coffee. So like class will be, or even something similar to like lunchtime tasting.
Oh man, I miss those.
Lunchtime knowledge session.
Okay, well, thanks for asking. I'll put that on my radar.
I will sign up.
You'll be my first. Great. One person will come. 2. No, I think it would be fun too. And even, I think that we could do something for sure. I'm sure there's like other people in the city who know a lot about this topic too, or like are interested in talking about it. So thanks for asking.